Right. Welcome back. Last time we dealt with the massive stream of naval invasions as they seem to have, for the most part, stopped. For the most part, it's not completely gone, as there's still some stuff happening, but it's being dealt with. Definitely going to need to start purchasing iron, aren't I? As well as aluminum. Thankfully, I can get plenty of either from allies. Other stuff, not so much. There, that should handle things for a while. I've been focusing on getting the military trees done. They're almost completely done. The armor tree is finished. The naval tree, the aviation tree has 2 more foci, and the naval tree has 30. I have done a bit of the political tree. I'll get to it more once I work more on land reform, because that's currently my focus. I could use another research slot and then work towards stuff like this. I'm gonna have to start extending front lines there. Even if I achieve this one, this is the only one that can move forward in. All tiles will still be adjacent to 2 or more other new tiles. Same over here, honestly. I should find a good point to push after their latest set of attacks. My enemies are starting to have equipment issues. Not all of them, mind you. Japan doesn't really have equipment issues because they start with a massive industry, and they maintain such a massive industry for a long while. They have far, far more factories than they do. They do have more dockyards, though. Looks like the Ottomans managed a naval invasion. So I guess Egypt will finally begin to fall. I guess I could grab another research slot. It's not like I really need it. I guess I'll burn it on tank variants and aircraft. Another naval invasion in this area? Yeah, it only looks like planned, not actually activated. Jeez. My aircraft aren't doing too great. I haven't pushed on this front at all. Perhaps I should change that. See what I can do down here. At the very least, it should present some interesting options for future endeavors. let's just read the event and then stop. The old world order of the Kaiserreich has been challenged since the collapse of the capitalist global economy as an aftermath of Black Monday. In Asia, the German Empire's economic collapse sent ripples through the colonial world, with the Indochina rising in 1936, as well as the collapse of the League of Eight Provinces. The recent completion of the Northern Expedition, as well as the War of Resistance, has solidified the Republic of China as the first nation in Asia to successfully vanquish the forces of imperialism. As a result, Song Qingling and the KMT's foreign ministry have decided to organize an Afro-Asian conference of leaders and ambassadors of the developing world to gather and discuss the new growing political shifts. While the African nations have yet to achieve their independence from the Germans, the Chinese are more than happy to welcome African revolutionaries as revolutionary comrades in the greater international war against imperialism. Delegates at the conference have decided to ratify and acknowledge key principles of governing a post-colonial Afro-Asian world, which include establishing goodwill with all members of the Congress, to examine social and cultural problems, and to enhance the international visibility of the developing world to the international community. A new era is dawning over Asia, and the Chinese nation under Song Qingling is more than happy to play an active role in promoting a shared future for the developing world. This will open up new decisions, which will allow me to invest in countries that are independent and socialist. Oh, and I don't have more than 21 factories. And once, well. Okay, they don't need to be independent. They could be my puppets or someone else's puppets. It does not really matter. Whatever the result, I will be able to invest in them so long as they're socialist and, yeah, not a colonial country like Middle Africa. So yeah, made quite a bit of okay, maybe not quite a bit, but some progress down here in Indochina. I haven't, but a heck of a lot in India because I've decided to go ahead and try making my way through here. In fact, I might actually move the tanks over to there. Certainly I would have an easier time than in the jungles. You know what, why not? Hopefully this doesn't use up too much supply in the process. Yeah, there were a bunch of troops that were just sitting here, 10 troops, 10 divisions. I've shifted off several. 8 off of here. There are now 7 more here and 1 more here holding the line here in order to prevent any funny business from occurring. Which would completely cut off this section from supplies. That would be very, very bad. So, avoiding that is of top priority. So far, supplies aren't an issue, though probably will be once the tanks come in, so I should probably expand the railroads here. Surprisingly few, all things considered. At least supply is no longer an issue in Tibet. Should make it so that things are less of a problem here. Yeah, Vin happens to have supply issues. Which are quite noticeable. Hopefully the modern armor would be enough to provide yet another powerful push. If I can capitulate India. If I can manage to capitulate India, that would greatly bolster my ability to fight in the war and possibly push all the way through Indochina. might end up weakening Japan enough to the point where I could actually take the fight to them. Problem is they have way stronger... They're way stronger in general. In the things that aren't army-based. Their navy is massive at 350 ships. They have a very large quantity of fighters, a lot of naval bombers, and... well... a lot of CAS, about 10k or so. Which, compared to me... I've got 600 strategic bombers and about 700 fighters. My navy consists of about 50 ships. I do have a ton of divisions though. And I've also upgraded all my light tank divisions to, well, modern armor, so I don't need that anymore. And modern armor is incredibly effective under most circumstances. I've also added in a maintenance company to make it so reliability is high. In order to further reduce drain on my modern armor count, which does not seem to be an issue anymore. Though it may become an issue if I do constant attacks with them, which I might end up doing. Not too unreasonable after all. Especially since I hope to focus on pushing into India. I do hope to eventually be able to cut off all those troops, though. Yeah. Anyway. My allies have managed to actually take down Australia, most of it. And not all of it, though, but it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal. They'll probably get to it at some point soon. Insulindia is also being taken down. The puppet Insulindia, anyway. We seem to be slowly falling back here. Not by much, mind you, but it does seem to be an actual problem in the area. Let me use motorization here. Motorizing everything should at least reduce some of the strain on the supply depots. Giving the ones further to the back more reach. Might lower some of the strain. I doubt this one can actually reach far enough to actually affect anything. Well, it might. Probably not. Yeah, minor supply issues. It's not going to be a big deal from here on out, though. Of course, eventually the fight will have to be taken to, well, Africa. Yeah, it's gonna be a long haul, though. Russia also managed to defeat Transamur, so now they can focus all their attention to these front lines. Should help the war effort, at least over in Europe. And will weaken the Reichspak's efforts, hopefully. But that should be enough for now. Certainly gone on for long enough. So, see you again next time. Until then.